may be seated. Good morning and welcome to the commencement ceremonies of the 71st graduating class of Great Bay Community College. My name is Will Arvello and I'm the president of Great Bay, and I am honored to be here with all of you today. I would like to introduce Reverend David Frainer, who will offer today's invocation, followed by the singing of the national anthem by graduating student Margaret Malloy.
Let us enter into a spirit of meditation and prayer. God, Spirit of life and love and learning, author of creation, we ask you to bless this graduation and all who are gathered here. God, we come here today with thankful hearts to acknowledge these graduates' achievements and at the same time to celebrate the capacity for human learning. And God, if I may just put in a good word here, these graduates deserve your blessing. They have worked hard, gone through easy times and tough, perhaps at times despaired of ever getting through, persevered nonetheless, and succeeded. Authentic learning does not always come easily, but it can come and does. We are here, God, to celebrate their achievements, and so we call upon you to bless them. They deserve it. And soon-to-be graduates, if I may put in a good word with you, relish this day, but know that the college is not some random collection of souls. It is a community in motion, a cadre of kindred spirits whose goal is to foster learning and understanding and perhaps to foster wisdom. Each member of this extended college community in his or her own way, faculty and staff, friends and family, each has supported your success. As each of you walks across the dais today to receive your diploma, may you be mindful of all who have walked beside you, both those visibly beside you and those invisibly so. May you hold each one of them in your heart. May you bless them. They deserve it. May the spirit of lifelong learning be among us and within us this day and all days to come. Amen.
It is my pleasure to introduce the distinguished members of the college community and honored guests represented on this platform. Please stand when I read your name and remain standing until all introductions are made. The audience, please hold your applause until everybody has been introduced. Kathy Bogle-Shields, Vice Chancellor of the Board of Trustees of the Community College System. Dr. Ross Gattell, Chancellor of the Community College System of New Hampshire. John T. Broderick Jr., former Chief Justice of the New Hampshire Supreme Court and today's commencement speaker. Dr. Sarah Bedingfield, Vice President of Student Affairs. Reverend Dr. David Frainer. Paul Petrides, Vice President of Academic Affairs. Rebecca Clerkin, Employee Representative of the Board of Trustees of the Community College System of New Hampshire. In the second row, Kathy Mullen, Member of the College Advisory Board. Sharon Harris, Member of the Board of Trustees of the Community College System. Doug Bates, Member of the College Advisory Board. Jack Calhoun, Member of the Board of Trustees. Mark Wendt, Member of the College Advisory Board. Allison Stebbins, Member of the Board of Trustees. And Mark Galvin, Member of the College Advisory Board. Applause, please. I would also like our faculty, department heads, and program chairs to rise, and for our other distinguished faculty and staff to rise as well. I kind of got ahead of myself a little bit. Margaret Malloy is supposed to sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Margaret. I don't know how you hit those high notes, but I couldn't do it. That was beautiful. I also want us to, so please join me in thanking all the staff and student volunteers that work behind the scenes to make this a great event for all of us today. So big round of applause for staff and student volunteers. Graduates, how are you feeling today? Woohoo! All right. Congratulations on achieving this hugely significant landmark in your lives. We know how much you've had to commit of your time and energy to be here today. We are aware of some of the many struggles that you have had to overcome and the sacrifices you've had to make to keep your focus and reach your goal. The fact that you're here today speaks to your inner strength, your passion, and your drive. And we're so very proud of your accomplishments. There will be plenty of opportunities as you go forth. First, you're graduating from some of the toughest and best healthcare programs in New Hampshire or anywhere. And do you know your advantage? You have practical experience. Second, you are entering a healthcare field where there is huge demand at the moment, and healthcare organizations will fight to get you on their team if you have the right commitment and the right passion. Third, healthcare is in significant state of change, which will continue to create more opportunities for excellent healthcare workers and patient advocates. This is leading to a significant need for more nurses, medical assistants, LPNs, nurse practitioners, surgical technologists, medical office assistants, massage therapists, health information technologists, and many other types of healthcare workers. I did a quick search on Indeed.com this morning for openings in New Hampshire. There are close to 4,000 openings just in the area of nursing, surgical technology, medical assisting, and veterinary technicians. I think that this is a pretty hot job market for you guys. So I think as you leave us, if you don't already have a job, you will have a job shortly thereafter. You made the right choice by selecting your field. I hope that you know the commitment you are making. What you will be doing is critically important work, whether it's caring for a pet or caring for a human being. Whether it is patient advocacy or administering urgent care, or delivering a baby, or supporting a person or one of our pets through illness, we are in your hands. This is serious stuff, and don't forget that. But always remember to step back and smile and ask how you can help. That may be a gift to a person that is having a bad day, and in that way you will be giving more than you receive. I thank you for putting your trust in Great Bay Community College, and we hope that we have served you well. It is my pleasure to introduce Kathy Bogle-Shields to bring greetings from the Board of Trustees.
Good afternoon. As Will said, I'm Kathy Bogle-Shields. I'm Vice Chair of the Board of Trustees for the Community College System of New Hampshire. Joining me today are Trustees Allison Stebbins, Jack Calhoun, Rebecca Clarkin, and Sharon Harris. We're all here to bring you greetings and congratulations from the board. Trustees provide stewardship and advocacy for New Hampshire's system of community colleges. As a student, you may have little awareness of the Board of Trustees. However, for us, you're the reason we serve. We're proud to be a part of today's ceremony. You inspire us with your hard work, with your ambition, and today your achievements. We appreciate the contributions you've made to Great Bay. Most importantly, you leave here poised to make a difference, not just in your own lives, but to your community and to your state. And for that, we are grateful and proud. To those who celebrate with you today, family, friends, faculty, and staff, a special thanks to you for all your support. For the faculty's dedication to the noble mission of teaching, for the commitment of staff to help students navigate their way through college, and to the families and friends our graduates turn to for support. You have provided it in a multitude of ways. Here in New Hampshire and nationally, community colleges increasingly are recognized for their importance in supporting individual economic advancement and the well-being of our society. Your choice to attend Great Bay Community College and your success here will serve you well as you head into the future. On behalf of the trustees, I offer you our warmest congratulations.
John T. Broderick is a former Chief Justice of New Hampshire Supreme Court. He served as Associate Justice of the Court from 1995 to 2004 and as its Chief Justice from 2004 to 2010. Much of his focus as Chief Justice centered on court reform in order to make the justice system in New Hampshire more accessible, affordable, and understandable for many of our citizens. Justice Broderick was the first Chief Justice in the state's history to appoint a citizen commission on the state courts. This commission made it possible for citizens to examine how the courts functioned and also how they could be improved to better serve the needs of all that require them. He created the first ever business court, expanded family court, mental health court, and drug court dockets across the state. After stepping down as Chief Justice, Justice Broderick became Dean of the UNH Law School. Under his leadership, the law school advanced to number 4 in the specialty rankings for intellectual property law by U.S. News and World Report. He also founded the Warren B. Rudman Center for Justice, Leadership, and Public Policy at the law school. Before entering public service, Justice Broderick was civil trial lawyer in private practice for over 20 years and formerly served as president of both the New Hampshire Bar Association and the New Hampshire Trial Lawyers Association. He is a fellow of the American College of Trial Lawyers. He has received numerous professional awards and several honorary degrees. Justice Broderick was born in Norwood, Massachusetts, and is a graduate of Holy Cross College and holds a JD from the University of Virginia School of Law. Most recently, Justice Broderick has been appointed Senior Director of Public Affairs at Dartmouth-Hitchcock. He also serves as co-chair of the Campaign to Change Direction, a statewide effort to educate people about mental health issues. I would like to welcome, and we are honored to have Justice Broderick be our commencement speaker today. Second time.
Good afternoon. You know, listening to the President's introduction, I'll bet I was thinking what you were thinking. This guy has trouble holding a job. I've had a few jobs in my lifetime. It's a real honor to be here. I mean that sincerely. This is a very special day for these graduates, and to be a part of it means a great deal to me. I want to acknowledge the Chancellor of the system, your president, who has an extraordinary personal story, and the Board of Trustees of the community college system. I remember my graduation day, 1865, 1866. Seems like that. But I do remember what I felt like sitting where you are, and I know how meaningful it is. I also know that there's a lot of love and pride in this auditorium today. And if your life was like mine, you wouldn't have been sitting where you are if these people hadn't been here to support you and encourage you. So what I'd like you to do is to thank all the people in this gymnasium who made today possible. I was told by the president that I was under a time deadline today, and he said I had to be done by 5 o'clock. So I will try to be done by 5. Actually, I'm wearing a tie here today that Governor Merrill, Steve Merrill, he and I are good friends. He gave me this tie. I wear it as a good luck charm. And the story behind the tie is he and I were in a restaurant one day. It was kind of dark in the restaurant, and I liked the tie, but I couldn't see it clearly. And then we got outside, and I said, Steve, I love your tie. He said, do you really? I said, I do. So he snapped open his collar, pulled the tie through, and gave it to me. And I said, oh my gosh, Steve, I didn't ask for your tie. He said, my dad told me if someone compliments your tie, you take it off and you give it to them. So then we walked about 7 or 8 steps towards the car, and I turned and I said, Steve, I love your suit. It's a true story. He said, my father was generous. He wasn't a fool. What I really want to do today is talk to the graduates. And what I hope to do is to give you at least some practical advice, which you're free to ignore. But I sense over time you'll learn what I'm telling you. And if you can accept it now, it may save you some bumps and bruises. When I was a new lawyer, I came to New Hampshire. I was 25 years old. I just graduated from law school, and I wanted to be a lawyer, a trial lawyer, since I was in the 7th grade. I don't know why, but that's what I wanted to do. And so when I came here, the first few months, there was a seminar put on by really experienced lawyers, and they promised, as part of their promotion, that they would tell us the secret of being a great trial lawyer. So I didn't want to miss that. So I went, and I waited 6 hours for the secret. And finally, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, one of the lawyers stood up and said, I know some of you have come today to learn the secret. That was the only reason I went. So it was about to happen. And he looked at us and he said, the secret of being a great trial lawyer is sincerity. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's obvious, but really brilliant. Of course, sincerity. And then he smiled and he said, as soon as you learn to fake that, you're going to be fine. It was a little more cynical than I was looking for. So I want to give you some advice that doesn't hopefully have that edge to it. But it's stuff I've learned over time. And in my lifetime, I've been very blessed professionally. I've worked with some great judges. I've known some great public officials. I practiced law with Governor Merrill. I've known great business leaders and educators, some of whom obviously are on the stage today. And so I hopefully have picked up some practical wisdom along the way. And I'm going to give you 10 things I've learned. It won't take long. The first is that life is not a zero-sum game. You don't have to put in exactly what you take out. Some people do that, by the way. Some people take out more than they put in. My advice to you is to put in more than you take out. People like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, billionaires, we know those names, we know what they've done. We know that Bill Gates transformed the information age in America and around the world. My guess is he won't be remembered for that, or he won't want to be remembered for that. He'll want to be remembered for the lives he's touched and the illnesses he's combated all around this globe. He's giving virtually all of his billions to a foundation, as is Warren Buffett. They understand what I just said to you. It's what you put in that matters, not what you take out. At your age, I was once your age. I know that's hard to believe, but I was. Building your resume was really important, and resume virtues were really central, and they're not unimportant. But as you age in life, you realize that eulogy virtues are maybe more important. David Brooks of the New York Times said people spend their lifetime collecting resume virtues when they really want to have eulogy virtues. I've never been to a memorial service, by the way, that was packed, where someone stood up and said, Bob was a great guy. He cared only for himself. He took care of only himself, and he didn't care about any of us. But didn't we love Bob? I never hear that. I never hear that. Try to build up eulogy virtues. I've learned in my lifetime that there are very few really important people in the world, very few. But you may have learned already that there's no shortage of self-important people. Sadly, there's a supply, an excess supply of those people. When I was about 19 years old in college, I worked at a Boston law firm in the mailroom in the summer. I wanted to see what lawyers did. I wanted to work in a place with lawyers. The senior partner at that law firm was nationally known and widely respected. He was probably in his mid-50s when I was there. At 19, the most important part of my day was lunch. So I was always at the elevator bank at lunch on the 28th floor. And the law firm had a lot of Harvard-educated lawyers, a lot of Yale-educated lawyers. And at lunchtime, they were often at the elevator bank with me. And there were staff, too. And many days when the elevator doors opened, those lawyers pushed forward to make sure they made the elevator. Some of the staff didn't make it. The managing partner would be there some days. He always let me go on first, and he always got on last. And when the elevator got to the first floor, wherever he was in that box, he'd get out of the elevator last. He didn't ask me to remember that, to tell you 50 years later, but I remember it. He was a very important person, but he didn't act like it. That's probably why I remember him. You need to understand, too, that progress in your career, it doesn't always happen in a straight line. It won't happen on the timetable perhaps you want. My mother had a great expression when I was a kid. If things didn't work out the way I wanted, which was often, she would say, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. God was laughing a lot in my younger life. When opportunity knocks, open the door. Open the door. When I was out of law school, I went to work for the Attorney General in Massachusetts. It was a job I wanted. I grew up in Massachusetts. Sorry about that, but that's true. And I love the Commonwealth. And I got a job in the State House, 6 doors down from the Attorney General. I thought that was the best job on earth. I was married. I had a 9-month-old son. I called the Attorney General's office the day before I was going to work. And the woman said, Mr. Broderick, I'm glad you called us because we have some bad news. I said, what is that? And they said the legislature in Massachusetts did not appropriate all the money we need for new hires. I said, would that be me you're talking about? She said, actually, it would be. So I said, what does that mean? She said, well, it means we're not going to be able to pay you all we promised you. And maybe in January, this was July, maybe in January there'll be a supplemental budget and we can pay you what we promised you. And I said to her, gee, my landlord was kind of hoping to get 100% of the rent. So that's not working out too well for me. I went to work there. I couldn't stay very long. I couldn't survive. And someone said to me, you know, there's a job opening at a law firm in Manchester, New Hampshire, where I had been maybe 3 times in my life. I said, I don't want to go to New Hampshire. They said, well, you got a choice. You can either try to get a job that pays you a living wage or you can stay here. So I interviewed and I got the job. And I said to my wife, who's still my wife, we'll stay 1 year and we'll go home. How am I doing on that promise? Not too well. My entire professional life that's played out in this state was due to the fact that the Massachusetts legislature did not appropriate enough money for my job. So I took the chance, I took the risk. I recommend it, by the way. Progress requires risk. My life has taught me that you, all of you, need to expect that at some point, at some location in your life, you'll experience failure. Everyone does. Everyone does. And it's not fatal unless you fail to learn the lessons of failure. A few years ago, when I was dean of the law school, we had Ted Olson and David Boies, Bush v. Gore fame, 2 of the best lawyers in the United States. They spoke at our commencement. And Ted Olson, one of the finest lawyers in America, said to our graduating class, I have learned so much more from my failures than I ever learned from my success. And most people were sitting there thinking, I didn't know you had any failures. Everyone will. Everyone does. Life is not fair. I hate to tell you that. Life is not fair. The only thing you can do when you confront it is to get up and keep moving. Perseverance has its rewards. You'll learn that. The other thing I want to tell you is during your lifetime, take time you do not have to lift other people up. Take time you do not have to lift other people up. It may be the most important thing you do on any given day, and it may be the most satisfying thing you do. A year ago, I agreed to co-chair a campaign in this state called Change Direction. The goal of the campaign is to change the unfair culture that surrounds mental health and mental illness in American life. And so I've spoken in the last 12 months 113 times around the state. I didn't invite myself anywhere, by the way, which would tell you how big an issue this is. And I've spoken at 34 high schools. Couldn't imagine I'd be doing this in my lifetime. And after I speak, these kids, 9th through 12th grade, come up to me, many of them, with wet eyes and cracking voices. And they say to this grandfather, I'm only 45, so I don't know why they say that, but some people think I look older. And they come up to me and they say, thank you for coming to my school. Thank you for talking about this. Then they'll say, I have mental health issues too. And I'll say, well, how are your classmates? They'll say, I can't tell my classmates. I wouldn't have any friends if I told my classmates. One little girl came up to me at Belmont High School, told me a story similar to that. Then she said to me, "Can I ask you a favor?" I said, "Sure." She said, "Can I give you a hug?" There wasn't a better place for me to be on that day than in that gymnasium. Sometimes they say to these kids, "You look like you could use a hug," and they squeeze me back. I never planned to be doing that. It's the most important thing I do. Has nothing to do with my career. But I took the chance. I've known, recently stepped down, Vice President Joe Biden. I've known Joe Biden for 28 years, 29 years. I knew him when he was Senator Biden, when no one really knew him. He ran for president before you were born. And I love the man. One day I was in Delaware visiting him, and he had to go into the Library of Congress the next morning, so he said, "Come on in with me." So we went to the train station in Wilmington. Weren't many people there at that hour, and he had to make that train or he would have missed the speech. So he said to me in the main lobby of the train station, "The escalator behind the shoe shine stand is where we're going. That takes us up to the track." And so I knew we were pressed for time, and I started moving very quickly. And I saw a man well turned out in a three-piece suit, sitting having his shoes shine. And the man shining his shoes was an elderly black man, probably in his 70s. Looked like life had been hard for him. And so when I got to the bottom of the escalator, knowing we were in a rush, I didn't hear the senator behind me. And so I turned, and he was, in fact, over at the shoe shine stand. He put his hand on the fellow's back who was shining the shoes. His name was Johnny. And he said, "Johnny." And so Johnny gave him a big smile. Biden had his arm over his shoulder. And he looked at the guy in the chair, and he said, "Don't let my friend Johnny do to you what he does to me. He does one shoe and tells me my train is here." And the guy laughed. He knew who Joe Biden was. And then we ran up the escalator to the train. And I knew what Joe Biden had done. When he didn't have time, he took the time to lift someone up. I guarantee you, that well-turned-out guy having his shoes shined by that elderly man did not look at him the same way. He was Joe Biden's friend. That's what I'm talking about. Take time you don't have to lift someone up. I'm going to give you a recommendation. I'd recommend you do it today. But if not, do it on your first day of work. When I started at the Attorney General's office in Boston, I was 25 years old. I didn't know anything about being a lawyer, but I knew I wanted to be a good lawyer. And so what I did that day, I took a piece of white paper on an empty desk, and I wrote down that morning how I wanted my career, not my day, my career to be remembered, because I thought I could control that. And I kept that piece of paper for decades. I moved it when I moved. And some days when I'd be discouraged or overwhelmed or feeling that I wasn't keeping faith with my original plans, I would take it out and read it to find out what that young lawyer thought years earlier. And then I tried to get back on track. You will never have a day, unless you're going on to get a further degree, you'll never have a day this excited or this fulfilling or this inspiring. Write down what you want to do and be today, tomorrow, when you start work. Because after a while, you might forget. One thing I've learned in my life is growth. I don't mean employment. I mean growth, real growth as a person, almost never happens in your comfort zone. Some people are very comfortable staying on a very narrow path, but they don't grow much over time. Take opportunities to get outside your comfort zone. I was a trial lawyer for years. I never aspired to be a judge, ever. I would have said I'd be a fireman before I'd be a judge. I had no interest in being a judge. And then I had the opportunity to go on the Supreme Court. And I thought, well, that's interesting, even though I never planned on it. I'm going to take that opportunity. Then I had an opportunity to become Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, to administer a branch of government. I never planned on that in my life, but I took that opportunity. And then when I left, someone said, "You should apply to be dean of the law school at the university." I said, "I've never taught at a law school, let alone be dean." But following my principle that growth happens, I applied and they hired me. And my time on the court and my time at the law school, and now my time at Dartmouth-Hitchcock, is continuing to allow me to grow and meet new people and come in contact with new ideas. It refreshes your life, and I encourage you to do it. Character and integrity. Those are kind of old school terms. Maybe I'm showing my age, I hope not. They haven't gotten old, and they're just as important as they were when I was sitting where you're sitting. Your reputation is built a brick at a time, a day at a time. But you can lose it in an afternoon. Trust me when I tell you, you can lose it in an afternoon. And so I encourage people to guard their reputations. Don't take a shortcut, don't cut corners. It ultimately will not be worth it. I encourage everybody here today, and I've learned it myself, you need some perspective and you need some patience. You're very young people. You won't always be your current age. So be patient in your careers and in your lives. Play the long game, not the immediate game, not the immediate gain. Don't seize every advantage you can because you can. Ultimately, it doesn't pay many dividends. If you realize that someday that someone else will have your job, someone else will sit in your office, somebody else will have your job title, it's very liberating. When I was Chief Justice, I left 7 years before I needed to. Some people couldn't understand why I did that, but I needed to do something else. I wasn't sure what it was. Do not identify yourself by your job title. Do not become your job title, because your life gets pretty small the minute you do that. And the minute you lose the job title, you really don't know who you are. The last thing I want to encourage you to do is to find something you truly love doing and do it. And don't do it halfway. Throw yourself into it. But never try to live someone else's dream, someone else's plan for you, because that won't work, by the way. And if it does work, you won't be happy, and you can't go back. You know, life is not a dress rehearsal. It's the play. It's happening in real time. So don't try to imitate someone else or adopt someone else's dream if it's not who you are. Authenticity counts a lot. When I went to college, it was a lot easier for me, I suspect, than it has been for some of you. When I went to college, you were expected to go. Everybody I knew was going. I didn't have to know what I was going to do. This graduating class and this community college system in this state is just an outstanding addition to higher education. And I know a lot of you have had to work hard to get here, had to work hard to go through here. The previous graduation this morning, I saw a woman leaving with her cap and gown and 3 children with her. I don't know how she did that. You have earned your degree today. And because of it, and because you're committed to do it, the workforce you're going to join is going to be very fortunate to have every one of you. My closing comment is congratulations, and make it matter that you got a degree from this school. Thank you very much.
I want to thank John, Justice Broderick, for being with us all day today and doing 2 of these. That's not easy. And so, Justice Broderick, we have a second bag of goodies for you. I'm hoping it's not all the same, so let's see. At this time, I would like to acknowledge the names of the recipients of the 2017 Chancellor, President, and Academic Department Awards. The Chancellor and President's Awards were presented at a prior event. Please allow me to introduce Dr. Ross Gattell, Chancellor of the Community College System of New Hampshire, who will announce the recipient names of the 2017 Chancellor's Awards.
Thank you, President Arvelo, and thank you for your leadership of Great Bay Community College. And thank you, Justice Broderick, for your inspiring speech and for all you have done for the state of New Hampshire. Congratulations to our graduates. We are here to celebrate your accomplishment, your graduation, and hopefully soon your entry into the New Hampshire workforce. We're very proud of you, and please do well and remember Great Bay Community College. You wouldn't be here today, all of us wouldn't be here today, without the hard work, the dedication, the excellence of our faculty and staff of Great Bay Community College. So I'm very pleased to be here to announce the recipients for the 2 Chancellor's Awards for 2017. The 2 awards are in Service Excellence and Teaching Excellence. The Chancellor's Award for Service Excellence recognizes commitment to student success and quality support and service to support student success. It is my great pleasure to announce that Deanna Friedman is a recipient of this award. Deanna was here this morning, and she thanked me for the award, and she was very pleased to be recognized at the morning's graduation and today, now at the afternoon graduation. Deanna works relentlessly in support of all students, providing clear, easily accessible, and holistic advising services for both new and continuing students. Her passion for students is contagious, her devotion and advocacy endless. So thank you, Deanna, for all that you do. The Teaching Excellence Award recognizes all aspects of excellence in teaching. Teaching that fosters the student's desire for lifetime learning in ways that make for a sustained, substantial, and positive influence on how students think, act, and feel. I am very pleased to announce that Professor Nancy DeSoto is the recipient of this year's award. Nancy, could you please? Nancy is an enthusiastic faculty member who frequently challenges herself to develop and deliver content in new and creative ways to enhance the learning process for all her students. Her students stated that Nancy takes time to explain things thoroughly and offers real-life examples for better understanding. She makes us feel like our contributions in class are useful and encourages confidence and independence while learning. Thank you, Nancy, for all that you do. Again, congratulations to our students, our graduates, and thanks again to our outstanding faculty and staff for all that you have done, including making sure that these graduates are here today with us and that we are celebrating their day with them. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor Gattell, for your leadership of the community colleges. At this time, I am honored to announce the names of the recipients of the 2017 President's Awards. Would the award recipients please stand when their name is called if they're here? For Outstanding Adjunct, the President's Award for Outstanding Adjunct is given to an adjunct faculty member whose commitment to Great Bay Community College serves academic integrity and student needs in the greater interest of the teaching and learning environment. It gives me great pleasure to announce that this award was presented earlier to Lou Buck Bacon. I don't know if Lou's here. The President's Award for Special Contributions is given to a faculty or staff member who has made outstanding contributions in transforming higher education through exceptional programs, innovative services, and effective administration. I am pleased to announce that this year's award recipient is Deborah Matson. And finally, the Outstanding Student Award is given to a member of the student community whose endeavors have made a significant difference at the college. I am pleased to announce that the Outstanding Student Award was presented earlier to Jamie Crimes. Please allow me to introduce Paul Petridis, Vice President of Academic Affairs, who will announce the recipient names for the 2017 Allied Health Academic Department Awards.
Thank you, President Arvello. I am pleased to announce the following academic department awards for allied health degrees. All other non-allied health degree program awards were announced at this morning's ceremony. These students are hereby recognized for outstanding achievement in these degree programs. When I call your name, please stand. For the nursing degree, the award recipient is Jamie Ray Crimes. For the surgical technology degree, the recipient is Erin Boyd Perkins. For the technical studies degree, the recipient is Noah Steckel. And finally, the department award for veterinary technology is Aaron French. And now, will today's graduates please rise? President Arvello, I present to you the students of the class of 2017 who have fulfilled the requirements of a degree or a certificate.
This is serious stuff, guys. Okay. By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Constitution of the State of New Hampshire and the laws of the State of New Hampshire, I have the honor to present the appropriate degree to those candidates who have met the requirements of their respective curriculum with all the rights, honors, and privileges pertaining thereto. You may be seated.
Will degree and certificate candidates please come forward as your name is called?
The following are candidates for the degree of Associate in Science in Health Information Technology: Natalie Dore, Stephanie Leona Flahan. The following is a candidate for the certificate in Medical Office Administrative Assistant: Lori Elizabeth Westover. The following are candidates for the degree of Associate in Science in Nursing: Kelsey Kathleen Bogas, Stephanie Ann Bowden, Justin Coburn. You're also far away. Karen A. Conway. Rebecca Delisle. Tom Elphinson. Sarah Catherine George. Abigail A. Gordon. Bethann York Gregudis. Kristen J. Gustafson. Victoria Holt. Jennifer Carr. Melissa LeMay. Diane Melkonian. Melinda Ann Moran. Rachel Nash. Veronica L. Noble. Sylvia Parker. Alfred Pelletier. Sarah Elizabeth Rock. Heidi Ross. Lauren Sherwood. Fergie Suputin. Nicole Caitlin Stockberger. Sital Suba. Kristen Evelyn Wells. Michael David West. The following are candidates for the degree of Associate in Science in Surgical Technology. Nicole Cassidy. Katie Elaine Curtis. Ashley Lavinia Murray. Aaron Boyd Perkins. Shannon D. Rapucci. The following are candidates for the degree of Associate in Science in Veterinary Technology. Emily Marie Barabo. Courtney Belanger. Riley Marie Bernier. Ashley T. Cronoyer. Ashley Marie Coutinho. Jesse Cunningham. Samantha Despard. Chelsea J. Dietrich. Shauna Lee Durst. Patrick Francis Fitzgerald. Colleen Faye Fournier. Aaron French. Marley Suzanne Janest. Shelby E. Hamill. Also receiving a certificate in veterinary practice management, Tyler Keating. Kristen LaBelle. Shelby Tara Martin. Jillian O'Brien. Morgan E. Pond. Carter Saltmarsh. Matt Schultz. Amber Lynn Shaw. Ashley Burke Swayze. Joanna Elizabeth Tate.
Will our graduates please rise? And will you move your tassel from right to left? Honored guests, family, and friends, I present to you the class of 2017.
Before I have Reverend Dr. Frainer come up and do the benediction, just want to remind people we are having a reception in the main lobby afterwards, so please join us. There's also some sweatshirts and t-shirts being sold out here. So, Reverend Frainer?
Please be seated. I beg your indulgence for 2.5 more minutes. Congratulations to each and every one of you. In his book subtitled The Education of a Craftsman, furniture maker and philosopher Peter Korn writes, "In every religious tradition, the single greatest attribute of the deity is creator of the universe. Some believe that God created humans in God's own image. Others believe that humans invented God. Either way, the most godlike aspect that both camps recognize is the ability to create, to forge order out of chaos, to shape oneself in the world in new and hopefully better ways. Creative fulfillment," he continues, "is not something to achieve and keep like a college degree hung on a wall or Olympic medal held in a frame. It resides in the process of making the table, not in sitting at it." Now, let me be clear, Peter Korn and I are not demeaning academic achievement. Quite the opposite. He and I and everyone gathered here, all of us, cherish what you have accomplished. We believe collectively and individually in the value of learning, but your work is not done. You are starting out, which is why it's called commencement, not completion. It is an ending of sorts, but an ending like the end of a chapter, not the whole work. That remains before you. And that work is what you are called to do. In these times, the authentic work of creation is more important than ever before. Enjoy the afternoon. Bask in the congratulations of family and friends, staff and faculty. But know this, the work of creation, the creative journey for which your education has prepared you, that work remains before you to shape yourself and the world in new and hopefully better ways. May the blessings of the life abundant in the journey of human being and becoming be with you now and forevermore. Amen.